is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to New Jersey Satellite Studio, where we show you the flavor of life here in the District of New Jersey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to INCradio New Jersey. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's near and dear to my heart because it's something that I'm not very good at all. We're going to be talking about gardening. Yes, I was going to say I don't kill everything, so I guess I have like a dark green thumb that goes to black because the black thumb is like the killer of things. But we are talking to a professional gardener today who has an absolutely green thumb. I mean, if you do it for a living, right, you must be super good at it. So she's going to be here to talk about a lot of things regarding gardening, including, when we have visitors in the backyard, how do we control them? If there's any way that we can just discourage them from eating our gardens, our crops, whatever it is that you have in your yard. And even for those who live in an apartment, she's going to give us some tips on how to keep things alive there as well. Hopefully it'll work this time for me. But before we introduce her, for our live streaming audience, we want to know if you have any questions for our professional gardener today. She's been on the show before 2 or 3 times, I think, to talk about this topic. And she is actually our very own Grace Evangelista, all the way from Aston, Pennsylvania. Hey, Grace. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Oh, we're always so excited to have you on the show. So I'm assuming this is your house, and these are your plants.
These are. This is my house, and these are my plants.
What are these red flowers? Oh, for me, it's just a red flower. So what are the red flowers?
Okay, so this is the entrance of my house, actually. So this is what I see when I come in to my house. And so these red flowers are begonias, and I really like them because they're really nice and beautiful and like pretty low maintenance. So if I forget to water them for like a couple of days, they're okay.
Okay, and I mean, we had the heat wave a few weeks last week, so they also did well in the heat wave.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about begonias. Actually, they kind of have like a waxy leaf. They're pretty thick. They're kind of like a succulent. And so like they didn't even look like they were suffering in the heat at all. So it was really nice during they still look beautiful during the heat wave, even though I was wilting.
I was gonna say, I wish I was more like a begonia because I looked horrible during the heat wave. I was melting. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. How did you become a professional gardener? Did you love playing with dirt as a kid? Well, you're from Hawaii, so did you love playing in sand?
Well, I did actually. I do remember as a kid, I really had a fascination with bugs. And so like I was kind of always in the dirt collecting bugs, and I would like make little colonies. I don't know. I would make like a little, I would collect them in a little shoebox with leaves and things. So I did kind of always like playing in the dirt, and I don't really mind bugs so much. So yeah, that was kind of like how my childhood was. But actually, when I was in college, I was majoring in something else. And then but then I decided it wasn't for me. And then I decided to major in tropical plants and soil sciences.
That sounds like last week's show. How often did you change your major? Just one time?
Right. Yeah, just one time.
Okay.
Just
I was
one
like,
time.
was it nursing though? Was it a medical professional? And you're like, I don't want to do this. I want to be outside with my hand in the dirt.
Yes, I was actually pre-med when I started college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Grace. Well, you're a different kind of doctor now. You're a doctor for plants. That's awesome. And before we go to the photos, how long have you been a professional gardener? Because you own your own business.
I do. I graduated college in December of 2008, and I actually moved here in January of 2009 to start my internship at a public garden. And then, so I don't know if that's where you would start my journey of like being a professional gardener. But I had also like several internships after that. And then after that, I decided to start my own business. So I would say I started my business around 2012.
Okay, so I did some rough math, and I'm sure our live viewers will correct my math. So if you started your internship in 2009, you've been a professional gardener for 15 years?
Yes.
Okay, good. My math
It's rough
wasn't.
saying that I've been doing something for 15 years.
I know how you feel because I'm older than you. So, all right. Okay, so we're going to show some, just a few photos of the things that you've worked on. Whenever our tech is ready, we can just scroll through. There's one picture in particular. So, what are these flowers?
Oh, so those are dahlias. I love dahlias.
I didn't know they were so tall.
Yeah, so they actually get really tall. A lot of them they're probably 6 to 7 feet, and they're very happy in that garden.
Is this your yard?
It's at a client.
Oh, okay. Next one.
Yeah.
Next photo. Are these
So
dahlias?
Yes, those are dahlias. So those are, when they're cut and arranged, and those don't even have like any filler. Those are just straight flowers, right? So then they just like.
That's my
so
favorite kind
beautiful.
of flower arrangement, when it's just the actual blooms themselves. It's
Mhm.
nice. Next,
Yeah.
let's see the next photo. Okay, there's a lot of things going on in this basket. Is this from your garden?
Yeah.
You grow all of these vegetables all the
Mhm.
time?
Not all the time, but yeah.
What's that big green one? It's all green. The light green one in the center on top of the cucumber. What is that?
So that's a patty pan squash.
What is this? A what?
It's a patty pan squash.
Oh, it's a squash.
Yes.
I've never seen a squash that looks like that. So what else is in that basket? That's zucchini. I see tomatoes, different
I see
tomatoes.
okra,
You grow okra?
eggplant, cucumbers, beans.
Beans. Are they the long beans?
Yes. Well, I grow vining beans and bush beans. So the vining beans, you need a trellis for them.
Yeah.
And then bush beans, like they're on the ground, they're about like a foot tall, and then you go and harvest them.
So what month did you harvest these vegetables?
Those are pictures from last year, so I'm not sure, but most likely for a harvest that big, that would be August or September, because that's when all the vegetables really are established and happy, and everything starts coming in.
So we can come to your house in August and get and pick these up along with a side of fresh eggs from your chickens, right? I know you have chickens.
Come and visit the chickens and the cat, and come and get some vegetables.
Look at that's a lot of veggies. All right, next photo. All right, sunflowers. Is this your client at a client as well?
This is at a sunflower farm. I think we went there together.
Oh, I see. Okay, but you've grown sunflowers as well.
Yes, I have grown sunflowers, and they're actually very easy. You can just plant them from seed, and if you stagger them, like we use them as a cut flower, and if you stagger them, then you can get sunflowers for weeks. So what I mean by staggering is, like, if you plant like 20 seeds in the middle of May, and then just like plant 20 seeds like every week afterwards, then you can like prolong your harvesting season for like cut sunflowers.
But you can't plant things in the same place.
No.
So you need a big yard. Okay.
Yes, you
All
need a big yard.
Okay. Well, I have questions about planting things in pots. All right. We have one more photo, I think. So one more. This is the one. All right. This is a picture of you holding up something ginormous in both hands. What monstrosity are you holding? And it's so funny that you're laughing.
I think I'm laughing because they're so huge. Like I could barely hold them in my hands. And so those are heirloom tomatoes. I'm not sure what kind, but definitely good for like slicing, putting in sandwiches. And some of them can get very big. Like I think like 2 to 3 pounds. They can be very, very heavy.
I was going to say, why is it so big? Is that because you took such great care of them, Grace?
Part of it is the care, but part of it's also like the kind. So they're heirloom tomatoes, which means that they've been bred for many generations and passed down, through, like you can just save the seeds yourselves. Like they're not like genetically modified in any way. So then it's like you save the seeds yourself, and
then you plant them the next season.
And you plant them the next season. Okay. So so people are like, they keep the traits that they really like, and then you can get big tomatoes like that.
My dad actually has done that. I think it might have been during the pandemic. He got a tomato that was like, I was like, I don't even want to eat that. It looks scary. It looked like it would eat me. Like if I cut it, it would bite back. That's how big it was. So maybe
I know
it was
people
an
are
heirloom.
always amazed when they see the really big tomatoes, just because like, and they do get like kind of intimidated. I get intimidated too, like because I'm like, how do you even cut this? How do you? I don't know. I just end up cutting it into small pieces and cooking it because it's like a lot of.
It doesn't cut. It doesn't cut pretty. I have to say, it's not. You can't really plate it the way that you would. So okay, so you've been a professional gardener for 15 years, which is actually a long time, and it's great that actually you're from Hawaii, so you also know how to grow tropical plants here in our climate. I've never been able to have an orchid rebloom, but also anytime I put anything in soil, it dies. So hopefully we can remedy that. All right. So one common question. So we have a number of questions that we've collected from other people and myself and also Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, everyone.
Hi. So I know Jeff had a specific question. I hopefully he is assigned that question. So we're going to start off with my question. So my question is, in the summer, when is the best time of the day to water your lawn?
So a lot of plants are stressed when it's like really, really hot. And we just went through a heat wave, right? Like we know how awful it has felt in the last week. We had a few like almost 100-degree days. So really the best time to water is either early in the morning or like after 6 p.m. And that's because like if you water during the hottest part of the day, like the water will like evaporate off immediately and will not have the opportunity to go into the ground. So it's like almost like you didn't water them. But also if the sun exposure is too strong, like the water droplets on the leaves can act as a magnifying glass and like burn your plants. Like, you know how.
Wow.
Yes. So if you notice, if you water your plants and there's like droplets that collect on the leaves, you'll see little brown spots. And that's what that is.
Oh.
I had no clue that was
that
happened
so
at all.
Sad.
Yeah. So sometimes you don't have a choice. Like, like I am watering all day, like during those hot days. And sometimes you don't have a choice, right? Like you have to water in the middle of the day because I have a lot of plants to water. If that's the case, you have to like try and not to get water on the leaves and just water
the soil.
Yeah. So pro tip.
Okay. Wow. That's sad. I've definitely done that mistake. And so don't even mist your leaves either. And if it's that hot, like if you have inside plants.
If there's direct sunlight on them, I wouldn't get the leaves wet when the sun is on them. But if the sun's not on them, then it's probably okay.
Okay. All right. So I have one more question before I turn it over to Jeff. Can you grow vegetables in pots in an apartment? I'm very interested in tomatoes and okra. And I think someone asked, there was another one, something small that you grow, but tomato, like things that are common, that are kind of getting pricey at the supermarket. Is that doable? Like, do you need what if I get a giant pot? Like, can I,
Right. And how big
answer?
a pot do you need? Yeah.
I think it depends on the conditions of your apartment. So do you have like a big window that you can put them up to? So plants need water, soil, and sun, right? So I think like the limiting factor in an apartment is really going to be the sunlight. Tomatoes and okra really require full sun. So do you have like a big
I have
giant
a big
window?
window, but my question, okay, so then my next question is, does it need fresh air or can it do with the air that's in my apartment? Dun, dun,
Um,
dun.
it
And
probably would be okay to be honest, but then like some things that I know like a lot of plants struggle with is actually just like getting blown on constantly. So if you have like if you have central air and there's like a vent that goes near that, like I know a lot of houseplants struggle when they are near a vent because they just dry out so quickly. So that might be something you want to consider,
no.
but then that just might mean that like it needs extra watering. But if you have a big window, that actually sounds like it could be doable.
Okay, so is that a thumbs up for tomatoes and okra?
I would say try it.
Try it and not be sad. So a small, so I guess a medium-sized pot. I guess we'll start off with, okay, sorry, I have one more follow-up question. So if I want to start off with one try for each, how many seeds from the packet do I have to put in one pot?
um,
3 to be safe
I,
that they bloom or no?
you want one plant?
I want one. I want to try one of each. You know, my success rate is not that great.
I would say 5.
So 5. Okay, so
Try
5 per
seeds.
pot. Okay, I have surviving soil, no surviving plant from the pandemic. So I have pots of soil that survive, but no plants. So okay, so I guess I'll reuse. All right, turning it over to you, Jeff. Are you ready to ask about fertilizer?
Yes, we are. And, as you mentioned, you need a pot, you need some soil. What can we use, or what kind of fertilizer do you recommend for indoor plants? And, maybe any other fertilization tips. For example, my parents use eggshells. I know some people use coffee grounds. What do you recommend?
Yeah, home things, making your own compost, using eggshells. They're all great soil amendments. If you're doing things outside, like I would recommend doing a soil test to see like what your soil is rich in and deficient in. So, like exactly how much what you need to add. For houseplants, I think, adding your own compost is great. And then you can also, there are certain plants that really like acidic soil. So like blueberries, like acidic soil. So then coffee grounds can make the soil more acidic. So things like that, just like knowing your plant and adding like what is appropriate for them.
Oh, wow. And will it make the blueberries taste like coffee?
That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I don't know if you've had that blueberry coffee from a very popular
I have
gas
tried
station
it.
here.
I have tried it. It's weird, but I mean, it depends on your taste. I do have a follow-up question about the organic fertilizer. Is it okay to throw a banana peel in the soil, or does it have to be composted? I know composting is a whole other process that hurts my brain. It sounds interesting, but super smelly. So
Yeah. I have heard of people using banana water and then just burying banana peel. So the thing about bananas is they're high in potassium, right? And potassium, along with nitrogen and phosphorus, are the 3 main nutrients that a plant needs. And potassium is actually linked to helping with root production. So actually burying a plant with a banana peel could help with establishing a newly planted whatever that you're planting in the ground.
nice.
Yeah, so actually,
really
if you wanted to
interesting.
use banana water, which I have never tried, but I guess in theory, like soaking a banana in water would extract the potassium, and like you could water your plants that you are rooting from water, Sister Leia, and that should help it.
It's not
in the soil.
it's not a secret, Grace. I can only grow plants in water. So yeah, whenever there's soil, it's like my kryptonite. All right. So I think Jeff has another question.
And speaking of bananas and things that we can eat, There are certain other things that can eat the stuff in our garden. My parents know this well. I think they're watching. My dad is famous for his war against the groundhogs, which honestly we don't know if we're winning. And we, as I had mentioned before you, Grace, that I might be going through that kind of war too. So do you have any suggestions for keeping animals or other things from eating our gardens, bushes, flowers, and fruits and veggies? You know, squirrels, rabbits, gophers, deer, all kinds of stuff. What do you recommend?
Yeah, we actually also just developed a groundhog problem. We just found one at our house. I saw him yesterday.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so I totally feel your pain, Jeff. But I guess what we have done at our house is just like fencing the vegetable garden area because that's kind of where it wants to go. And, in the past, it has just like gone up to the fence line and dug under and like made a tunnel and just went in, right? So
Yep.
what we have done is actually made a little, what we call a skirt around the fenced area, which means we got a fence panel and just like basically made a little L. And so then the fence is laying on the ground. So because it's going to naturally want to go to the fence line, but because there's fence on the ground, it can't dig through. And so that has
Oh.
actually been very helpful in keeping the groundhog out. And like because we have chickens, we've also done that so the foxes and stuff won't dig and get to the chickens either.
So it works for foxes too. Wow.
Yes. For deer and things like that, there are sprays and like little granules that you could like spread around that make the plants unpalatable. And I think it's made out of like very smelly things like rotten eggs. So then you spray it on your plants and it makes it like, I guess they can smell it, but technically it should be odorless once it dries, but they can smell it because their sense of smell is a lot stronger. But they can smell it and they don't like it. So then like hopefully like that has always worked, but then you have to spray pretty often, like pretty much after it rains every single time.
Oh, okay. So it'll get washed away with the rain. Okay, good to
Yes.
know. Any other
Oh,
critters that we can kind of shoo away from our gardens?
um,
Just planting things that they don't like. I have a lot of deer pressure here in here where I live, and so I just plant a lot of marigolds and salvia and like other plants, lantana, because I know that they're just like unpalatable to them, and generally like they might taste them, but it's not their favorite, so they just move on.
Okay. And I think Leia had a question too. Maybe she has some deer or critters going into her apartment garden. So she had some questions for
well,
that.
well, my question is more for houseplant critters. Like when you, I mean, for we talked about fertilizer, but what about insecticides? Is there something more natural than spraying your plant with whatever is bought at the store that actually works? Or like I hate to say vinegar because I feel like vinegar is going to kill your plant. There was a science project that we had in school in high school. Like, what's the best thing to water your plants with? And the vinegar plant was very sad. Someone watered their plant with vinegar, and it was a very sad plant. I don't even know if it was still alive at the end of like the week.
Yeah. House plants and like bugs. Like once you have one, I actually just kind of recommend to get rid of it because like it can spread to the rest of your house plants pretty easily. We do have like mealy bugs on some of my plants, which we have been able to like kind of keep under control by just like wiping it down really often and like spraying it with like in the shower and just like knocking them off. Because I'm not a big fan of insecticides either, to be honest.
Yeah, I pesticides, insecticides, I get nervous about because we're inside, we're inhaling it, and also it's just bad for the plant. That makes me so sad, but I wish I had known that during the pandemic because it's exactly what happened.
It
There,
spread to the
it
rest of
spread
your
to the
plant.
neighbors. Yeah, because they were all on the sill. Yeah, the neighboring plants, they all got it. Oh man, it was contagious. And I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do, and I did get the spray, and I was lovingly trying. I didn't know what to scrape or what. So all right, well that's sad. Okay, so let me just check real quick if we have any questions from Team Live Chat. Do we have anything, Jeff?
I'm sure we got a bunch.
Okay. Oh, we got a comment from Rebecca Fernandez. You might know who this is, Jeff. Groundhogs and squirrels, they think our backyard is their buffet table. Wait, so what about squirrels? Squirrels come from the top. So is there a way to stop them? No, it's a useless.
I have given up on the war with squirrels.
Oh,
Like
Oh,
honestly,
wow.
my theory is plant more than you need. Like especially for your vegetable garden, just plant like twice as what you need, so you can you can share with them because they will just take what they want. It's like almost because they're so tiny, they're so like they can get anywhere, they can climb, they can dig. So it's yeah, but there are like actually kind of I have heard of people putting like cayenne pepper into the soil so that to kind of just like deter them from like digging into things. Like I have had them dig into my ornamental pots just because I think they hid some nuts in there or something. So that can
Oh.
be like a pain if they just because they keep digging it up and I have to fix it every single day. So it's very annoying.
wow. Okay. We do have a good question from Mr. Mayan Manzano. Can we have a list of low maintenance outdoor plants for landscaping?
It really depends on your spot. So is it sunny or shady? So like for like I guess hostas are always like a good choice because they are pretty versatile, can grow in sun and shade, but like I can't grow them here because deer love them. So
Oh no. So let's say for at the Aston property, is that would that attract deer into the property? I mean, it's a residential area, right?
yeah, I mean I think I have high deer pressure here just because I'm next to a wooded area. So Aston would actually probably be okay.
Okay. And so that it's like low, I don't know if low maintenance equals inexpensive either. So I feel like if it's strong enough to last inside and outside, that sounds expensive to me. But low maintenance means you don't have to water it every day. I mean, are we supposed to even water our plants every day?
I would not. Maybe in the summer, yeah, but like in the winter, like your house plants, like probably like once a week is okay.
Okay. Yeah, once a week. Okay. I'm learning a lot. Don't overwater and don't dump in a whole gallon of water in your plant. How much water are you supposed to use?
Well, a really popular and like foolproof way of watering is actually just bottom watering. I don't know if you've heard of that. So getting like a big bowl and then just putting your plant in it and let it soak it up from the bottom, and then you don't have extra water that it's sitting in. So
But if it doesn't soak up all the water, you have to dump the water, right? Because then it will get rotted. It will get rotten.
yes, so then you take it out of the bowl, let it drain, and put it back wherever it was. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Maybe that method will work for me this time, Grace. How long should you let them soak?
Like 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. And you do that.
If you have a lot of plants, the bottom watering takes a long time because just like switching them out.
We're starting off with okra and tomato plants as soon as I can get to the store. So it's no bother really.
Sister Leia, if you actually, I think the plants like tomatoes and okras are actually on sale now because it's so late in the summer. You don't have to start from seed. I think it's going to take too long if you start from seed right now.
Okay, great. That's even better. So we start off with plants that are alive, not ones that I raised from birth, from seed.
From birth.
Okay.
Your heirloom plants, the ones that will carry on for generations.
we're just trying to get through the first month, Jeff. Okay. We do have one question as well. What about chicken poop? Do you use chicken poop for anything?
It's in
And
my
that's a question from Manrella. I'm sorry. That's a question as fertilizer.
So the chickens and my compost pile are in like the same area. So like any of like the green stuff that comes from my garden goes into a pile with the chickens, and it makes great compost. So we do once in a while add them to our garden bed, and it's great. But the thing about chicken poop is, if any of you have chickens, you can't add it straight to your garden because it's very high in nitrogen. So you have to let it compost for a few months before you add it to your garden bed, or else it will burn the plants. Like it's too high in nitrogen. Like it's gonna. So yes, you can use it, but you have to like let it age for it to be effective.
Do you
Wow.
do you compost, Grace?
Yes, all the things. Also, chickens eat everything, so it's like great because I just throw it in there, and then they will like scratch it around, and then like anything that they don't eat, it goes like breaks down into compost. But also, if they eat it, then they'll just poop, and then it turns into compost. So it's good.
I want to visit your house farm, house/farm garden.
Come on over, Leah.
Okay, I do have one more question before I turn it over to Jeff, and I am looking at the time. Do you have any suggestions for parents who want to teach their kids how to grow a plant? Something that's easy and low maintenance.
Yeah, so something like super simple would be good. Like starting a seed for like a sunflower would be really easy, or like actually any vegetable plant. I think like a tomato or a squash would even be really neat if you have the space for it. But I guess like sunflower is very equitable. You can like put it in a pot if you live in an apartment, and then it should do okay on a balcony. And they have the ones that grow like really tall, and it makes kids really, really excited. And I think it would be fun for them.
Yeah, sunflowers when they're full grown look scary.
Do they?
They look like they can bite you. They're taller. We went to that sunflower farm. They were taller than me. Well, I'm not that tall, so.
There are shorter ones, and then so the ones we usually see at the sunflower farms are like 7 feet tall, but there are shorter ones and branching ones. So there are ones that even have like 10 flowers on them at the same time. Usually like more heirloom varieties. So yeah, there are less scary ones, Leah.
I hope so. Those, I have nightmares about those. It's like they come to life. Maybe I watch too many TV shows as well. All right, Jeff, you have a very important question to ask Grace.
All right, so Grace, for those, we've gotten so much great information from you, and a lot of people, you can see Team Live Chat. They're just asking away. So, for those interested in becoming a professional gardener, what advice would you have, or what tips would you have for that?
I mean, I guess my education really did help, but really for me, it's about the experience. If you want to do this professionally, I would say learn as much as you can about plants. To get business, it would be just word of mouth. So maybe you want to like offer a neighbor, like, hey, can I weed your garden, or can I mow your lawn, or whatever, and then like word of mouth is like how I started my business. And honestly, I don't do any advertising, and like I feel like I've done well for myself. So just being like a good business person, being reliable, and just being honest is also really important.
All right, there you had it. So just keep trying. All right, thanks, Grace.
All right, and you really have to love insects and not be bothered by them, right? Especially
I think I've been blessed because insects don't really like to bite me. Like if I am with any other person, they will go for the other person.
So when we hang out, I'm going to make sure there's a third person, so the third person gets bit, because I don't want to get bit either. Yeah, it's very unpleasant to get bitten by insects, any insect, fly, spider, whatever. But I think this is usually the part where Jeff really shines, but he's not going to show us things. Grace, you're going to show us your tools. So what are your essential tools for gardening?
Okay, so these are the tools that I use like 90% of the time. So these are my pruners. So this is just like for regular pruning.
Can you show us what are the teeth, the mouth, what is the top? So that we can identify them. Oh, okay. Those look pretty serious weapon. Again.
So yeah. And then this is always like clipped to my pants. And so I have easy access to them. So it's like really easy to just use them to cut off anything dead, or if I need to like shape something up or make it look pretty or deadhead something. It's always here with me, easy access. This is my digging fork. Also use it like pretty much every day. It's really good for digging, weeding. It's really wide. and is really good for being in the ground. And for those stubborn weeds, I have this soil knife. So
that is like that's like military grade soil.
This is actually marketed as like for prospecting. I think it's called prospecting, like metal detecting people. And then usually, so then like this can go into like rocky soils, hard soils. It's really good for like things that have really deep roots. Like if you want to dig out a thistle, you can use this, and it's really nice. This is one of my favorite tools because it's like so useful. And there's a little serrated edge too, so it like really helps with getting into the soil there.
Wow! So
and of
much
course my
cool
gloves.
Stuff. Oh, of course gloves.
Because then otherwise my hands would just be dirty forever. So I love these. The ones that I usually like are like fabric, but then they have like coating on the palms. So then your hands just don't like get wet immediately when you're digging in the ground. So those are like the tools that I use 90% of the time. Of course, like I use long handled tools like shovels and rakes and things like that. So yeah.
All right. Wow. So much interesting stuff, and I know everyone is really interested in about it. But Grace, time really flies when we're having a lot of fun, especially in the garden. So we actually have to move on to our shout out section. So do you have any shout outs?
Okay, sure. Hi, I'd like to say hi to all the brethren in the local congregation of Aston, my sisters, Joy and Hazel in Las Vegas, my parents in Hawaii, and my husband, Abe.
Aw, and we always love Abe.
Yes,
Abe.
He's the best. Hello.
All right, and I got some shout outs too. Of course, got to greet my home area of Bergen. Got to greet the Fernandez family, both to and from. And congrats to Ma and Fernandez for getting your MBA. Hey, congratulations to you. And have some birthdays too. So some Bergen birthdays. Happy birthday to James Santos. Happy birthday to Evangelina Morris. Also, happy birthday to Jersey's own Jennifer Pasqua, Frank Aliganga, and former New Jersey and Fel John Lizardo. And happy birthday to Mika Jumao from New York, who you sometimes see us collaborate with. All right, we have to move on with our show. And we have our hashtag winner. So, Kuya Tech, let's get that bumper.
Now announcing our hashtag winners.
All right, for honorable mention is Philadelphia. Congratulations, Philadelphia. For third place, yes, give them a round of applause. For third place, we have Grace. We know they're behind you and they're with you. It's Aston. Congratulations, Aston, on your third place win. In second place, right around the corner from Aston, would be Winslow, right across the river. Congratulations, Winslow. And in first place, drum roll please, we have Elizabeth. Congratulations, Elizabeth. You are our hashtag winner for this week. All right, we have to move on to our activity updates. So can we get the bumper for that also?
Activity updates.
I just love it. And maybe those are some things that you can put in your garden. Okay. All right. Today happening at 12. So in about a half hour, a little bit more, we have the Pasugo quiz. So everyone support your contestants in the Pasugo quiz and good luck to everyone. And as usual, every Sunday at 3:00 p.m., we have the devotional prayer of all the students via WebEx. So if you are studying, young or old, you have your way to kind of meet everyone and get together and get support for that. And as usual, please check with your local congregation for details on local events and daily Bible study schedule. All right, and we also have CFO in action. So if we can get that, Kuya Tech.
CFO in action.
Members and officers of the Children's Worship Service gathered for their monthly meeting focused on mental health. They discussed the importance of practicing good physical habits and explored topics like self-confidence, self-esteem, kindness, respect, and positivity. The meeting emphasized integrating these values into daily life to create a supportive environment where mental health is prioritized from an early age, ultimately strengthening their faith and fostering brotherhood among the young members of the Church of Christ. Brethren throughout the District of New Jersey once more gained insight in taking care of one's medical needs through a recent first aid seminar sponsored by the CMDPS organization. CMDPS members, through video conferencing, presented basic tips on how to properly perform first aid. This activity not only taught brethren how to use medical tools, but most importantly, it emphasized the importance of using these tools in caring for one's personal well-being, especially in an emergency medical situation. Brethren in the local congregation of Philadelphia continued to do good to their fellow men through a recently conducted INC Giving Activity Neighborhood Cleanup Drive. Brethren and officers met at the chapel on Paul Street, and together they cleaned streets, parks, and communal areas, removing litter and beautifying their surroundings. The event fostered camaraderie among the brethren and received positive feedback from residents grateful for the cleaner environment, reflecting the congregation's dedication to making a positive impact in their neighborhood. Through the leadership of Supervising Minister Brother Alex Reyes, the brethren in the District of New Jersey continue to unite with the church administration in the many activities launched inside the Church of Christ. And this was our CFO action last week. From the District of New Jersey, I'm Sister Grace Evangelista. More on CFO in action next week. See ya!
And see you again, Grace. Thanks for that. I was like, she's on the show and she's on our CFO in action. Okay, quickly before we close out the show, we want to give time for our shout outs. From Verhel Dulai, shout out to our Mavi, that's his oldest son, for graduating from high school. Congratulations, and congratulations to all of our graduates. We also, Mayan Gerzon has a question about the flowers in your background, Grace. So that is the begonia, right? The begonias. Because she also forgets to water sometimes. I forget to water all the time, and then I overwater because I forgot that I watered. Okay. Karen Jackson says, Grace, your garden is beautiful. We also have, we talked about the chicken poop. Abe has an interesting comment about groundhog adobo. I don't know if I would eat that. That's scary.
Although squirrel or deer might be even better. So
Yeah. I don't know about squirrel either, Jeff. Deer, I'm okay with. All right, we want to say hello to Jeb Barrientos tuning in from Orange County, California. Mario Oka from Brixtonville District of Caloocan North. We also want to say hello to Flo Alejandro Guillermo all the way from Oregon, and Ronnie Bayuga from Orlando. We want to say hi to my mom. We want to say hello to Brother Ramil, Brother Jerome, Brother Jeff Dote, Sister Grace, Sister Lynn, and also first honors goes to, for first commenter, Celeste Carino from Winslow Congregation. Okay. Was that fast enough? I feel like I didn't get all of them, but thank you for everyone who tuned in. We hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Grace will definitely come back if there is a demand. So I know we have all those countries out there. I want to give an update about my planted okra plants once I get them. But we wanted to thank our church administration for their continued support to INT Radio, for allowing us to have a program like this where we can stay connected and learn together. Thank you to our beloved executive minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, and our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Manalo.
before we say goodbye, we again thank our viewers for taking the time to watch the show. We hope today's broadcast has given you the inspiration and encouragement to become a better gardener and get your hands in the soil. Get those green thumbs going. And remember, it's not too late to start. See you on next episode.
Bye, everyone.